Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome to SICW All-Star Wrestling. I'm Drew Abenhouse here with Lucky P. Larson Esquire.
Who is continually disrespected by these stupid toothless hillbillies.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a fantastic wrestling action for you tonight. We have our TV main event. We'll see tag team action. This is going to be a great match. Superstar Steve Fender teaming up with Devastation Incorporated's Peyton Ayers to take on the team of the Night Train and Big Texan. Also, Billy McNeel is here. He will be in action. Waco is here. And we'll be taking on Jaquan, Wright. Curtis Wilde will meet Glenn Williams, and we will hear words from Jason Breed. All today, ladies and gentlemen.
One question.
Yeah?
Where's Waco from?
Let's have
Hello, fans, and welcome to another edition of All-Star Wrestling. And this is our first match right here tonight. Billy McNeel, the popular one, taking on Cade Maxon, one of the recent graduates from the Ace Wrestling Academy. Thank you for joining your SICW All-Star Wrestling here each and every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel. And there you see Billy McNeel being introduced. Referees telling the men to retreat to your neutral corners as the bell sounds, and this one is on the way. Billy reaches out, wanting to show a little gentleman handshake, and Cade Maxon slaps it away. And, of course, right away, Billy McNeel says, okay, if you want that, I'll show you. Oh, and from behind, Cade Maxon attacks McNeel. Ooh, big forearms to the back and to the neck. Backs McNeel in the corner. Ooh, big right uppercut, and now just openly choking Billy McNeel right in front of the referee. Rushes in with that knee to the midsection. And now he whips him. Oh, a reversal, and it's Maxon off of the ropes. McNeel catches him in midair and shows his strength, puts him up on his shoulders, swings him around. Airplane spin, something you don't see a lot of other than from Billy McNeel. He sets him down, and Maxon's kind of like, whoa, where am I at? What state am I in right now? Hooks the leg, takes him down to the canvas, and Billy's wrapping him up like a pretzel. A count of 1, 2, but Maxon kicks out. Fans, don't forget, on March the 29th, we return to the I-9 Shriners Temple in East St. Louis, Illinois, for another fundraiser with our good friends from the Shriners. It's always a great time. So if you haven't got your tickets, make sure you show up. They'll be available at the door. Oh, Cade Maxon with a knee to the midsection. And another one. Whips Billy into the rope and hangs on, and now a front face going to set him up for that suplex. Cade Maxon showing what he learned in the Ace Wrestling Academy. A second one. Boy, this could be a feather in the cap of Cade Maxon if he could upset Billy McNeel here. Belly to back, and it's Billy getting wore down by Cade Maxon. Maxon rolls in, hooks the leg, count of 2. McNeel kicks out of that. And Maxon continues to stay on the attack. Another front face lock on McNeel. Oh, drops him face first down to the canvas. And now Billy slow to get to his feet. Cade Maxon telling him, come on. He rushes in and he misses with that kick. Billy dodged out of the way. And now Billy says, okay, you've had enough, young man. He swings him around. Oh, a big kick to the side of the head. Billy now puts him up on a backslide. Is this going to be a submission, or if he pulls him down, he could have him for a pin count, but I'm not sure what Billy's got him, what his idea is here now. You see Cade Maxon shaking his head no. Billy's and he drops him down. And now Billy rolls on top of him, kind of 1, 2, 3, and Billy McNeel gets the 3 count on your opening bout here on SICW. Fans, let's go down now to an interview with Curtis Wilde.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the one, the only, the volatile one himself, Curtis Wild, with the #1 Ginger Wildfire. Guys, thanks for joining us. Curtis, I know you have a few words for the locker room.
Hey man, thanks for having us. And I gotta tell you, with a locker room like this, it comes full of locker room leaders. You got people like Gary Jackson. You got people like me, who's been in this 25 years, a quarter century in the wrestling business. Crazy. 10 years here, and now you got these new kids coming. You got these kids coming out of Ace Wrestling Academy. You got kids like Cade, Maxon. You got the pioneers of the locker room. These guys don't understand what respect is about. They don't understand what etiquette is about. You see, there's simple things that you do in a locker room. You pick up after yourself. You put some chairs away. You walk around. When you get there, you shake hands. And I get it. You're wrapped up in your head. You think you're better than you really are. I've been there. I've done that. And maybe I didn't always shake hands when I walked into a locker room, but I'll tell you what, I always had respect for everybody in that locker room. I just don't think they do. And then you got people like Glenn Williams, who go out of their way to disrespect everybody and everything that built SICW. And I am one of the people who did it. So Glenn Williams, he's right in there with all the rest of them. You want to disrespect the people who built the foundation of the house that you enjoy. Step on through to the wild side any old time you want it.
Strong words from the Lion of the Lou, ladies and gentlemen. Curtis Wild sounds like he's ready for any challenge from the locker room.
Anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Curtis Wild, ladies and gentlemen, we have to take a commercial break. We'll be right back as Waco takes on Jaquan, Wright.
Hey everybody, What Were They Thinking is proud to be a part of the show with Herb Simmons at SICW.
Show some enthusiasm, Joe. Put on a damn bow tie. We got Herb Simmons, we got the Kill Arena, we got St. Louis, where Mr. Briscoe is in the Hall of Fame. What Were They Thinking? It's available on Backstage Pass. Sportskeeda's our buddies. We talk about the wildest, the craziest, the dumbest, the insane moments in wrestling history that I'm proud to be a part of because, Mr. Briscoe, you're the one that hired me.
And I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, John.
That's not nice. Not nice at all. We love Herb Simmons. And Herb Simmons, you have been there forever. Mr. Briscoe thinks you might be 1,000. I don't think you're a day over 900. We love St. Louis. What were they thinking, Backstage Pass?
And fans, this match is getting on the way, and we have the Masked Man, the one that everybody knows, Waco. And he is squaring off in this match against another graduate of the Ace Wrestling Academy, Jaquan Wright. And as you've heard me say in the last couple of weeks, this is a young man to keep your eyes on. And there you see, he rolls out of that corner and hip ups. And now we're going to see how he measures up against the Masked Man, Waco. Referee signals for the bell, and this one starts. And I'm not quite sure if Jaquan White is going to underestimate Waco. They hook up. Collar and elbow. Goes behind. And now Waco reverses it. Comes up. And now, Jaquan working on that outstretched arm as Waco tries to grab that top rope, but he's keeping him in the middle. As I said, Wright, a graduate of the Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. Ace Wrestling Academy. Waco grabs that rope, and referee Nick Redmeyer calls for the break. Fans, don't forget, SICW Fan Fest 3 takes place May 16th and 17th at the Hilton at the St. Louis Airport. You're going to hear a lot about that in the weeks to come as the time is getting close. Big stars already announced, legends like Kevin Von Erich, Abdullah the Butcher, Tito Santana, the Rock and Roll Express, Dan the Beast Severin, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and the list continues to grow. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, go to SICW.org. You can purchase your tickets and book your hotel and be a part of SICW Fan Fest 3. Right now, it's Waco off the ropes, and Jaquan takes him down to the canvas. And now, up and over, this is where he puts those knees right into the rib cage as he hips up from that, and he hooks the leg, moves in for a count of 2, and Waco gets the shoulder up. That's what I said. This young man, you're going to have to keep your eye on him because he is really showing Waco what he learned at the academy. Big rights now. Backs Waco into the corner. Front mare out. Off of that middle rope, comes across with a body. 1, 2, again. Man, he may score him a victory here against Waco. Oh, but Waco, a punch to the midsection. Now, drops him down with that jawbreaker. And it's Jaquan finding himself back in the corner, and Waco delivering them big, vicious chops. That'll wake you up. I think Waco's right now saying, welcome to the world of professional wrestling. Oh, a big body slam by Waco. And now Waco just stands on him. Well, you're not going to pin a man that way. He's got a lot to prove here. Now, Waco walking around with him. What's he going to do? Drops him down. Side walk slam, a count of 2 in Jaquan Wright. Kicks out of it. It's been a pretty evenly match right here between these two youngsters. Now, Waco says, all right, I've had enough of this. Drapes him over that middle rope. And the referee comes over and says, get off him. But Waco says, okay. Jaquan Wright on the canvas. And now Waco just starts slapping him around. What's he going to do with him now? Takes him out on the apron. Ooh, big knee lift. And he falls back inside the squared circle. He rolls him over. Count of 1, 2. And again, Jaquan Wright kicks out. Referee Nick Rednire signals 2, but now Waco takes that tape off of his wrist and starts to choke him with it. Referee moving in, and it's Waco being admonished by the referee, but now he kicks him in the rib cage. Picks up Jaquan Wright. Swings him around. He misses with a standing clothesline, and Jaquan catches him coming off that rope with a second one. Waco misses again. Jaquan, up in the air and catches him. And it's Waco in the corner. Jaquan Wright coming from across, but nobody at home. Waco grabs him, takes him out of the corner, picks him up. A backbreaker. Hooks the leg, a count of 1, 2, 3, and Waco gets a win here on All Star Wrestling. Fans, let's go down to ringside and hear from Jason Breed.
That don't happen often.
Yeah, wrestling fans, I am here with the man himself.
If he's just trying to
Jason
fill time,
Breed. Earlier, we heard Curtis Wild
stopped him for 4
give some
minutes.
advice, I guess we call it, to some of the newcomers in the locker room. I know you're somebody, you've been around, you've been there, you've done that, and I know you've got an opinion on some of the folks in the locker room.
Well, SICW boasts the best talent in the Midwest. So when our young guys come in here, I understand their excitement and I want to be the best. I'm going to put my effort into it. I understand all of it. Let me explain something to you. You're way enough. You are not the right weight class. Coming to this locker room, throwing your weight on. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate all their enthusiasm. But I've been doing this for a long time. And one of these kids think they're going to come in here and take my spot. they're going to have to fight you. That's a guarantee.
Well, you've been where a lot of these young people are. You're a man now with great experience. Life, you get older and you learn lessons. It teaches humility. And I know you're trying to give a little bit of that. It sounds like tough love, maybe it is, but you've been where these young people are. And I think this is advice that they should probably take to heart.
Absolutely. There's two different roads you can take in this business. There's an easy road, there's a hard road, and then there's this road right here. I would suggest you stay in your lane, learn your lessons, and become the best wrestler you can without stepping on any toes. Because as soon as you start stepping on toes, you start to make enemies. When you start to make enemies, bad things happen.
You've stepped away from time to time from wrestling business, and every time you've come back, you've had more experience. You've come back with new wisdom. How is that, like, where your head is at now? You're still fighting, obviously, for the top here. You're looking for gold, but you're in a place where you really can be a mentor and teach these younger folks some of the errors that you made as a younger man.
I made a lot of mistakes growing up. Like you said, you stepped away from time to time. I was fond of taking the road less traveled. When I say you guys are going down the wrong road or you take a hard road, I say that because I've been on that road and I'm trying to lead you away from it.
It's supposed to be 2 more
If
minutes.
I can do anything to help, I will. Because this is a business. We have to stay professional, and I'm here to help. And that's what I plan on doing. I plan on being a mentor to these kids. I plan on keep them on the right road, but I'm not worried about it because if they get out of line, I have no problem taking my belt off.
Well, I can tell you it's an honor to have someone like yourself in our locker room, and I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, time for our next matchup. This is going to be a doozy. Big Nasty Glenn Williams taking on volatile Curtis Wild. That's next.
Well, fans, this here one is a main event anywhere. There you see Big Nasty Glenn Williams and the Canadian hero, some of you fans call him the Canadian Zero, Sean Vincent, taking on the volatile one here, Curtis Wild, as you see him being introduced with Wildfire. These two men have no love for one another, I can tell you. If you want to get wild, you want to get on the bandwagon of Curtis Wild and Wildfire. And, of course, Big Nasty Glenn Williams making a name in the business already in his short career as he is traveling and he is making himself known that he is going to be someone that's going to be reckoned with in the sport of professional wrestling. And there you see Curtis Wild, who has no love for Sean Vincent either. Anytime Sean Vincent is at ringside, it's double trouble for whoever the opponent is. Referee Bill Henson will have his hands full with this one, I can tell you. Both of these men have met before. They're cautious of one another. Curtis doing a little talking back and forth, but these two guys both have a act of knowing how to talk one another back and forth. Oh, Williams moved in with that big right, but Curtis blocks it, and now he starts delivering those punches. Referee telling him, keep the hand open. Curtis head first drives Williams into the corner and now takes him over to the other side. Curtis Wild, like I said, the volatile one. The spark of Forest Park. Now a big chop delivered by Curtis. Big Nasty Glenn Williams. Believe me, he can take a lot of punishment and he can dish it out. Fans, don't forget, Saturday, March the 29th, Ionide Shriners Temple at 609 St. Louis Avenue, East St. Louis, Illinois. I believe this is the third year SICW will be returning, helping them with their fundraiser. A lot going on with SICW, as we are going to be going back to the Worldwide Technology Raceway. In July, we're going to Waterloo, Iowa, to the Tragus Hall of Fame reunion. We're going to be going back to Fairmont City, Illinois, to the Missouri Athletic Club. And, of course, the big show, May 16th and 17th, the SICW Fan Fest 3, where the Bruiser Brody, Larry Matisek, and Tony Costa Memorial will take place, and someone will walk out with that beautiful trophy cup, whoever the winner of that Battle Royal is. But in the meantime, you're watching Curtis Wild and Big Nasty Glenn Williams battle back and forth. Williams off of the rope. Curtis catches him, takes him down, turns him over, trying to get him into a Boston Crab, it looks like, but Williams reaches out, grabs that bottom rope, so the referee calls for the break. There you see Sean Vincent on the outside. Williams to his feet now, and he throws Curtis into that middle turnbuckle head first, and now he just starts waylaying on him. One to the midsection, a couple to the head, now back to the midsection. Bill Henson, the referee. The man in the stripes telling him, let him out of the corner. But there you see Sean Vincent doing what he does best, up on the ring apron, choking Curtis Wild as Glenn Williams was distracting the referee. Now Williams moves in, puts the foot up under the throat, and just starts kicking a mud hole in the stomach of Curtis Wild. Now Williams stretching Curtis over that top rope, pulls him back and just starts beating on the chest at Curtis Wild. And of course Sean Vincent's got to do a photobomb, as he always does. Now Williams goes for a cover, but only a 2 count. Now Wildfire and Sean Vincent having a few words with one another outside. Curtis backs up into that corner. Williams moves in, tosses him over to the other side. And of course, that's one thing Glenn Williams is not ashamed to do, to tell everybody he is the best. But he rushes in, and Curtis Wild had something for him there. And now another big boot to the chin. That slowed Williams down. Now tosses him in. He comes out. Curtis now starts doing those jabs with that right hand, and the referee trying to tell him, keep him open. But, a forearm, and that knocks him down to the canvas. Sean Vincent beating on the canvas, telling him, come on, buddy, come on, get up. Let him beat you some more. It's easy to say when you're standing outside the ring. Curtis moves in with that spear, and he takes Glenn Williams down. He goes for the cover, but there you see Sean Vincent comes in and breaks it up. The referee starts calling for the bell, and this is going to end up in a disqualification, and Curtis Wild is going to get the win, as you see both of them. And now coming in, Billy McNeel coming in to save his other half of the tag team champions. Wow, what a way to end this one. Fans, let's go down to Dr. Drew and get some words from him right now.
Wrestling fans, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with this week's promoters.
SICW presents FanFest 3, St. Louis, May 16th and 17th. Hilton, St. Louis Airport, Nakita Koloff, Missy Hyatt, Gangrel, Teddy Long and Mac Davis, Tito Santana, and Bill Apter. More to come. SICW FanFest 3. For more info, SICW.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it's time to take a trip to this week's Promoters Corner.
Good evening, fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the SICW Promoters Corner. I'm Herb Simmons. Each and every week we bring you the past, present, and the future, and this week it's a little bit of all of that, as usual, because I've got a very special guest with me this week, one of my dear friends in the business. He's on a little vacation, but when you're retired, you get to do that. And this week's guest is none other than the greatest intercontinental champion of all time, Tito Santana. Tito, thank you for taking time off the beach to join me.
Oh, thank you for asking me. You know, I love coming to watch your wrestling fans react to the shows that you give them. I mean, you have amazing fans.
Well, and the reason why I wanted you to take a few moments to come on tonight is that we're planning for this big event on May 16th and 17th, a Friday night and a Saturday at the Hilton at the St. Louis Lambert Airport. Tito Santana will be joining us with a list of other great stars. You heard one last week. WWE legend Jerry Briscoe is going to be there. Abdullah the Butcher, Dr. D. David Schultz, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., Dan the Beast Severin, the Rock and Roll Express, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and the list just keeps going and growing. But tonight we want to hear from Tito. As you heard him say, he just loves coming to St. Louis. But for those of you who are wrestling fans, which if you're watching this program, you definitely have to be. Tito, your whole career in that ring, you worked as a good guy. Is that correct?
Yes. As a matter of fact, people keep telling me that I think that me and Ricky Steamboat are maybe two of the only that never switched to be a heel.
Right. And like I said, all the years I watched you or worked with you, I never knew you could get in there and get tough with them, but you were always the good guy, the baby face, as we call it. But you started that with the WWF, what, 1979, I believe it was?
Yeah, 1979. I believe it was in August. Me and DiBiase went into the WWF at the same time. We came from Amarillo, Texas. We drove up together and we made our debut together. DiBiase had already been on TV for a few weeks. I just made my debut when he started.
Right. And you were there from about 79 to 93, I believe. And then you took a little break.
Yeah, it was a good run with the WWF. The fans took to me, and I've got to thank Vince Senior, who helped me out, quite a bit. And as a matter of fact, I ended up making him my booker. Whenever I was going to make a move, I would call him and ask him for advice. But I think that was the beginning. I'm sure a lot of the fans know my big break was when I got teamed up with Ivan Putski and we won the tag team championship belts. That kind of pulled me to the top, almost overnight.
Right. But you were also the Intercontinental Champion on two different occasions, weren't you?
Yes. I after 1979, I left the WWF and went to the AWA for a couple of years and got more experience. And I came back in 83 and, I think either late 83 or early 84, I beat Don Morocco in the Boston Garden for the IC championship for the first time. And yeah, I ended up losing it to Greg Valentine, and then I won it back in a cage match against Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Wow. Well, that's going to be interesting with you and Greg both being here at the SICW Fan Fest 3. That'd be a photo op right there, or you and Greg Valentine,
Yeah, that'll be good, because we haven't done it anywhere else, and a lot of the fans still talk about that feud that we had. We had the longest feud in the history of the WWF because, we used to beat the crap out of each other.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll have to remember that. And like I said, we'll get you guys in the ring there and have a photo op. The fans would really love that. But you talked about teaming up with Ivan Putski. What a great guy he was. And you held those tag champions two different times, didn't you? One with Putski and then the other one with Martel?
Yeah. Ivan Putski and I held it, and we dropped it to the Samoans, and then I left and went to the AWF, and I was gone for a few years, and then I came back in 83, and I had the reign of the IC championship for two different occasions, and then when that was over, I ended up teaming up with the model Rick Martel. He wasn't the model yet, but yeah, Strike Force was a very popular tag team, as you know, Herb.
Oh yeah, I still see the fans wearing those Strike Force shirts that they had out there, and it was really a popular team back then. And then you were the king of the ring for one time, didn't you?
Yes, I was. You know, there was an
89 or
experience
so?
that keeps coming up. You know, they didn't make much about King of the Ring when I won it. Then it kept it kept growing and growing and growing, and it became a pretty big thing being the King of the Ring.
Oh yeah, and then like I said, and then you wrestled in the first ever WrestleMania against the
Ye-
Executioner.
Yes, you know, I was very happy about being the opening match in WrestleMania 1 because Valentine and I had the hottest feud in the history of the WWF, and we had the longest feud. And when I found out I was going to be the opening match, I was pretty disappointed because I would have thought that they would have put my match against Valentine because it was a pretty hot feud. But Vince McMahon told me right before I went through the curtains, Tito, the reason you are the first match is because you need to get the people off their butts, and you're going to set the tempo for the night. And you know, it gave me a different outlook of why I was the opening match. And now it turns out to be one of the best things that happened to me. You know, a nostalgic question: who opened up WrestleMania 1? Tito Santana against the Executioner.
Oh yeah, and then you went on and competed in the first 9 WrestleManias, which was a pretty interesting feat, I think.
Yes, Hogan and I are the only 2 wrestlers that can say we were on the first 9 WrestleManias. Nobody else can. WrestleMania 9, I was in a dark match. It was in Vegas against Papa Chop. I did beat Papa Chango that night, and that was the last WrestleMania that took place in.
Wow. So I mean, what a great career of that, of being able to say the first 9 WrestleManias you competed in, and then in 2024, I believe you joined the Hall of Fame, the class of 2024.
In the WWF,
Yes, it was WWE. Yeah, in
Yeah, it
2024.
was 2004.
Yeah, yeah, 20. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 2004. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
So I mean,
I went in with a great class of wrestlers. JYD, Greg Valentine, Sergeant Slaughter, I think Bobby Heenan. There was a few, you know, it was a great, I think,
great.
yeah, Greg Valentine, and I can't remember right now who else, but you know, it was a great class of Hall of Famers that year.
Oh yeah, great class of the 2004. Prior to
Was that
your
the year
wrestling,
that was that the year that Harley Race went in as a Hall of Famer also?
I believe so. Yeah, I'd have to check, but I
Yeah.
believe it was. I mean, there was a great. I mean, it was a who's who of professional wrestling. I can tell you. But prior to your wrestling career, you played some football. Am I right?
Yes, I did. You know, and I was a free agent for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, I kind of joke about it. You know, I didn't stay there very long, but I did wear the uniform. You know, it was an honor to be able to say that I wore the Kansas City Chief uniform.
Oh yeah, and you played at West Texas.
I played at West Texas State. I
And who was
played
your
there with
quarterback?
the quarterback. You know, was Tully Blanchard, and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase was also on the same team. And you know, we had a pretty good team in the early 70s at West Texas State.
Right. So tell our viewers tonight how it was you got into the wrestling business.
Well, Joe Blanchard was Tully Blanchard's father. So it was a combination of things. Joe Blanchard and Tully Blanchard started talking to me about becoming a professional wrestler. And then Terry Funk, may the good Lord rest his soul, also played at West Texas State, and he would come by and stand by the sidelines and talk to me. And he started, playing. All these guys also, and they saw something, and I listened to them, and they helped me out. And yourself, Herb. It's not who you are; it's who you know. And I was very lucky to know some good people in the business. And before you know it, I got into the business. It wasn't easy. I mean, I had to learn how to crawl before I learned how to walk, and then learn how to run. For those of you that might not know, this is a hard business to learn. And, I learned because I listened to a lot of real good people who helped me out throughout the year.
Well, and that's kind of what I did. And I know I've told you the story before where I got to sit underneath Sam Muchnick's learning tree. And this is my 52nd year right now, this month of February. And I did the same thing. I got to meet so many great individuals in the business, such as yourself. And you mentioned those names when you mentioned Terry Funk and Tully Blanchard and Joe Blanchard. Those are names that I was honored to either work with during the promotional part of it, or Sam had introduced us to when Joe would come to St. Louis. I remember I got tapes of him when he wrestled in St. Louis. And so, I mean, I was a fortunate young man at the right place at the right time. But Sam always told me, keep your ears open and your mouth shut, and you'll go a long way. And so for 52 years, I've been promoting wrestling, and I would not change anything, I'll tell you.
Well, I've also been around quite a while myself, and I don't know that there's anybody else who has been doing it longer than yourself. I mean, and you can see the result. I mean, whenever I go to any of the shows that you have there, it's a different feeling. The fans, the fans, not only do they love their wrestling there, but the fans love you, because you keep giving them good stuff, and they know good stuff when they see it. You cannot fool a wrestling fan. If you give them a good show, they're going to let you know. If you give them a crappy show, they're going to let you know too.
Oh yeah, and that's what I love about it. I love all the fans because they're more than fans. They become part of the SICW family, and I think that's what makes it so special. And that's why I think Fan Fest 3 is going to be so special, because each year I tie it in with the Bruiser Brody Memorial. And Bruiser Brody was not only a business. We were close friends, and his wife Barbara comes in every year and presents the winner of that Brody Battle Royal, that trophy cup. So we're keeping his legacy alive because he meant so much to me in the business. He introduced me to so many of the guys, the Murdochs, the Valentines, the Blackwells, and Kamala, the Ugandan giant, worked for us. And I owe so much to guys like him. That's why I'm keeping his legacy alive. And so on that May 17th night of the Fan Fest, we'll have not only the induction of the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, where Greg Valentine will be inducted that evening. So I'm really glad that you're going to be there to maybe you can help me with the honors of inducting him. What class that would be, having you in the ring with Greg Valentine as he's accepting his award. But then we do the Bruiser Brody Memorial that night, and I think it's just it's a great time for wrestling fans, and it lets all of you guys, that some of them you may not seen for a while, get together and tell stories, road stories. Bill Apter will be there, and Mac Davis, people like that that's helping promote this thing. So I can't thank you enough for the kind words, and you're always there anytime I call you, my friend.
Well, it's an honor, and just to remind you and the fans that Bruiser Brody was also a West Texas State Buffalo, played football at West Texas State, and I knew of him when I got into the business. You know, along with another one that people knew there was Bobby Duncombe, was also a West Texas State. I mean, there were so many guys that came out of West Texas State. Great talent in professional wrestling.
Yeah, there for a long time, I thought every wrestler out there went to West Texas State, because when you talk to Terry Funk and Dory Funk and people like that, that just like you said, Bruiser Brody was there, and Bobby Duncan, and guys that made their mark in football and then in wrestling. So they kind of went hand in hand back then. But I don't want to take up too much of your time, because I know you're on vacation. I'm kind of envious of you, but I saw some of the pictures you posted the other day, and I'm just glad you're retired. Real quick before we leave, tell the viewers you were a school teacher, correct? Right?
Yeah, I was a school teacher for 26 years, and never thought about what being a teacher was going to bring into my life. But it was one of the smartest moves that I ever made, was to go to West Texas State, play football, and get my degree in 4 years that I was able to use later on. Now I have a fantastic pension, and it's been good to me, and I just felt so good, because I know there's no doubt in my mind that I made a difference with a lot of young kids. I was a middle school teacher, taught Spanish, and the young kids, they need leaders, and I believed a lot of them looked up to me, and I represented the adult, and they knew that I cared about them, and they listened to me. I've been running in lately to some of my old students, and the other day one of them says, I remember you used to grab me and take me to the side and say, why do you behave like this? And so now that I'm an adult, now I know what you meant. And he says, the guy told me, I've been thinking about you quite a bit. And, it makes me feel good to hear that I made a difference.
Well, it's got to make you feel good, because as you said, when you're young, growing up like that, they need somebody to look up to. And that's kind of what Bruiser Brody was going to do, him and I. And Larry Matisek was working on a plan, kind of like a DARE program, to where he would be going to schools and talking to the young children and trying to get them on the road, because we had a show at the Fox Theater in St. Louis, the only show ever produced there. And we had a group of the Boy Scouts come in, and you could hear a mouse crawl across the floor when he was talking to them. He jumped down off the stage and got out there in the audience with them, and he really had their attention. And so I understand what you're saying about the youngsters having it. And here's Tito Santana in the classroom, who they may have had watched tapes of you, or their parents had. So it's great. There's no doubt that you changed some of their lives and made them very productive in life. So I'm very proud to know that you had that on your career, but now you're on the beach.
Now I'm reaping the benefits and enjoying, the weather here. I left New Jersey. We had a lot of days that were just horribly cold, ice, snow, and you get here and it's in the middle 80s and the sun's out, and man, what a difference.
Well, I'm going to let you get back to some of that. I just wanted to have the fans who join us here each and every Sunday night hear from the greatest intercontinental champion of all time, as far as I'm concerned, Tito Santana. And he's going to be joining us on Friday night, May 16th and 17th at the St. Louis Hilton Airport, as FanFest 3 is coming to you. You can go to SICW.org, book your tickets, book your hotel room, and come out and meet Tito Santana in person, and a bunch of other guests. And Tito, I can't thank you enough for coming on here, and I can't wait for May to get here to see you in person again.
It'll be here before we know it. Arriba!
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, fans. There you have it. The Intercontinental Champion, Tito Santana. We'll have another special guest next week. It's going to be hard to top this one, but we'll try. We'll be right back here next Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Have a good week.
You saw it, ladies and gentlemen. That was this week's Promoters Tonight, and we'll be back with your TV main event, huge tag team match. Don't go away.
Wrestling fans, SICW Wrestling has been providing fundraising opportunities for several decades for local communities and nonprofit organizations. If your community or organization is in need of a great fundraising opportunity, SICW Professional Wrestling is the way to go. For more information or to schedule an event, call 618-286-4848 or 618-719-1034. We'll bring the matches to you.
Well, fans, this is the TV main event, and boy, when you talk about main events right here, SICW brings you the best. You see the big Texan in the night train, Gary Jackson on one side, teaming up with the big man Peyton Ayers, and of course the superstar Steve Fender, the man who was trained by the late great Harley Race. There you see being introduced in this TV main event. And this ought to be a slobber knocker, a Donnybrook, as our late friend Larry Matisek used to say. And of course, you see on the outside Lilith Khan, and of course Stephen E., the head of Devastation Incorporated, the man who back in November had all the marbles on the table in that big main event back then of the Barbarian, Haku, and Attila Khan taking on Ron Powers, Danny Boy, and Gary Jackson, the man who you're seeing right there. And of course, you all know the outcome. That's why we're here tonight. Ownership and leadership of SICW stayed intact. And in this match right here, superstar Steve Fender going to square off first against the Night Train, Gary Jackson, the man who was honored at the Cauliflower Alley Club as Wrestler of the Year. Also won the Sam Muchnick Award as his shoulder tackle takes Steve Fender down. Now a side headlock, and it's Fender coming up with a head scissors. Action like you'll only see on SICW All-Star Wrestling. Jackson now trying to wiggle his way out of that head scissors. And he does, comes up and now back into the headlock. Fender now gets up to his feet. He backs Jackson off of the rope. Oh, another tackle, and Fender goes down to the canvas and is a little bit slower getting up this time. And reaches over and makes the tag with the big man, Peyton Ayers. And when we talk about somebody you got to keep your eye on, this man has it. Look at the size of Peyton Ayers. Jackson goes around, now comes up with an armbar, reaches out. Now look at this big man that comes in the ring. We all know what the big Texan can do. And he continues to work on that arm of Peyton Ayers. Pulls him in, twisting it around the way it isn't supposed to go. Now delivering those big forearms to the upper shoulder, to the back, a punch to the side. Now Peyton Ayers fighting back, ends up with a side headlock himself and delivers the Texan's head right into that top turnbuckle. You see Steve Fender shouting words of encouragement. Referee moves in. Big forearm delivered by Peyton Ayers on the big Texan. Brings him out with a side headlock, rubbing his face and eyes across that top rope. Tags made, and the superstar comes in, and a big kick to the midsection on the big Texan. Fans, Saturday, March the 29th, join us at the I-9 Shriners Temple in East St. Louis as we help them with another fundraiser. We can't wait. That beautiful temple building. The Shriners do a fabulous job. And now Fender trying to toss the Texan from one side of the ring to the other, but he holds onto the rope, and it's Fender that gets whipped into the rope. Back in the day, they called that the Irish whip. Oh, picks him up. Texan now, big body slam on the superstar. He backs off the rope, comes down, drops that elbow. Referee moves in for a count of 2, and Fender kicks out. These guys have been going non-stop, I'm telling you. 4 of the best in the business right here in your TV main event. Tag is made. Jackson comes in. Oh, but Fender. Chop. Tries to do a big punch. Jackson stops it. Now he's delivered some forearms. Goes back to the arm. A fireman's carry. Comes up with that arm bar. Just that quick, Fender finds himself back on the canvas. Fans, to get your tickets for the SICW Fan Fest 3, you go to SICW.org. All the information is there. You can purchase the tickets. You can book your hotel rooms. It's all right there. And if you don't take advantage of it, I don't know what to tell you. It is going to be the event of the year. Some of your all-time greats, your favorites, are going to be there. Tito Santana, Abdullah the Butcher, the Rock and Roll Express, Kevin Von Erich. And the list continues to grow. Buff Bagwell was just recently added. Buff the Stuff will be with us. And it's Texan reverses and Peyton Arians up in the corner. And Texan moves in and catches him, drives him back into the corner. Bill Apter, well-known author, publisher, photographer, you name it. The man who traveled around the globe with the wrestlers for many years. The pictures you've seen in the magazines that we all waited for at the local drugstore will be there at FanFest 3. And on Friday night, May 16th, he'll be hosting a question and answer with a lot of the legends who are coming in town early that Friday evening at 7 p.m. right there at the Hilton at the St. Louis Airport. So come in, get your ticket for that, and be a part of the question and answer. Hear Brutus the Barber Beefcake talk about his road trips. Greg the Hammer Valentine. Tito Santana. And then on Saturday at 10 a.m., the Fan Fest will start. 5 p.m., the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame will begin. We have a class of about 5 going into the 2025 class this year. Butch Reed, Crusher Blackwell, Ivan Koloff, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Ox Baker. And then at 7 p.m., the Bruiser Brody Battle Royal. The night of the best in professional wrestling takes place at 7 p.m. And now Peyton Ayers charges in. Jackson goes behind. Steve Fender tries to get him with a clothesline. Jackson avoids it. Whips Fender off of the rope. Takes him down with a reverse elbow. Peyton once again misses with the clothesline. But now it's Peyton Ayers backed up to the rope as Gary Jackson working on both Fender and Peyton Ayers. And Jackson picks up Fender with a body slam. Peyton Ayers moves in, grabs Jackson, whips him into the rope. Jackson with a swinging reverse neck breaker on Peyton Ayers. That slows the big man down. Jackson goes in for the cover. Fender breaks it up. Fans, the action is non-stop here in your TV main event. Fender now working on Jackson. Backs him into the corner. Both men. Now, both of them tosses him over to the other corner. And Peyton Ayers charges in. Now the big Texan comes in and he tosses Steve Fender out of the ring. And as Ayers is coming out of that corner, catches him with a clothesline. Referee goes in for the cover. 1, 2, 3, and Jackson gets the pin in your TV main event. And you can see right there, Stephen E. is not at all happy. Fans, that's your TV main event. Gary Jackson and the big Texan get the check mark in the win column. Okay, fans, thank you for joining us this week, and we'll return next week on Sunday night right here at 8 p.m.